So Facebook, Zoom is talking to Facebook. And let's see. Okay, so we got, Peter is asking, where do we see the show? I hope he gets to refresh the page just like I am doing. And I believe we are live.
Hi.
Hi, Jessica.
Hello, good morning.
How are you?
I'm great. I got my cup of coffee. I have you. Here we are.
I know. And okay, good. So we are live. So I am hoping that you guys will be able to comment on this. I am not sure how to see the comments right now because this is on a page. So please forgive me. I'll get this fixed next time. But in the meantime, I am really excited to be talking to Jessica about how good is your life, energetic life hacks. How are you?
Good. Life is good.
Yeah, right? So it's so funny. The first thing that comes to mind since you said that is, why am I calling the show How Good Is Your Life and not Life is Good? Right? Well, first of all, Life is Good is taken. So yes. That was one problem. But Jessica, why do you think I called it How Good Is Your Life and not Life is Good?
Well, I like that it's a question, right? Because it's a question, and when we ask questions, that opens doors to new possibilities, and it puts us in a space where we might be open and curious, and something new can be created. So, yeah, how good is my life?
Yeah, and it can always get better.
Yes.
And that's the beauty of it. This show is going to be about adding more to your life, having more, seeing more, showing up more. And I had to, like, all this stuff that we think is problematic or annoying or hurtful or offending, all of that, like, had to handle all of that so that we have total ease, we have total joy, no matter what shows up, right?
Yes.
And the energetic life hacks for me, so I was telling somebody whose English is not their first language, the title of the show, and they did not know what a life hack was.
Oh, yeah, okay.
So it got me to really, really realize that, excuse me, it got me to realize that a hack comes from how many people hack computers, right? So they try to get into a structure that is really solid, and they hack it, and they're like, I'm going to make it do whatever I want it to do, not what somebody else has decided it's going to do. So a life hack is, yeah, okay, so life is this way, and some people have decided it's challenging or it's, difficult, but a life hack is to basically break that pattern and have a life that's easier, that's more fun, right?
Yes.
So energetic life hacks is all about using energetic tools.
Yes.
How cool is that?
Oh, I like that, because hack to me, I just got what the word is. But yeah, like, we're breaking into a whole structure. Makes me think too, I really like the word hacktivist.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome.
Yeah, like people break into structures for more good, to change things that aren't working. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
We're hacktivists of our own life.
Of our own life. Yes. I love it. I love it. So do you have a recent example of a situation where, things could have been not easy or not fun, and you used something, either an energetic tool or practice that you have, or something that maybe most people wouldn't think about?
Yeah. Which example do I use? There's getting in disagreements with my boyfriend or trying to run my business.
Let's use the boyfriend one.
Okay, so, people with people in an intimate setting. We are not the same. I don't understand him. No, it's The simplest tool that has created our relationship is that question, what else is possible?
Yeah.
So when we are in an intense discussion, usually because I've made it intense, because I have a lot to say about something and I see things so clearly and I'd like him to as well.
Yeah.
But he did not see things the way I do. And so then invariably we get to some sort of impasse. I've said everything I'd like to say and he's heard it. And then what? And then either he or I will say, okay, what else is possible here? And what's funny is in the very moment of saying what else is possible here, I always think that's a stupid question and it's not going to change anything. I always think that. I'm like, asking what else is possible is not going to change this. And then like 20 seconds later, there's more spin. And then like 2 minutes later, I can look at him and smile. And 3 minutes later, it's like all that heaviness it's in the past.
Yeah. That's awesome. That's just awesome. I know exactly what you mean. So before we go further, I would like to give credit where credit is due. And, Jessica and I, we are both facilitators of a modality named Access Consciousness. So if you guys have never heard of Access Consciousness, I strongly recommend you go look up accessconsciousness.com. But a lot of what we're going to share in this show, even though it's totally applicable and it's absolutely pragmatic, even all of that, then you can know that most of it is a tool from Access Consciousness. Basically, everything we're going to say is a tool from Access Consciousness, and if it isn't, we'll tell you, right? It would be a lot easier to do that. So just know, like asking questions and that question that Jessica just gave you, what else is possible? That is definitely a question we use a lot with Access Consciousness. So just know that's a lot of what we're going to talk about is Access Consciousness, probably our way, like Jessica and I way, but it is a lot of Access Consciousness, okay? I just wanted to clarify that.
Yeah. Thanks for saying that.
Yeah. Okay, so you use the word that I would like us to clarify for people. You use the word space. So in case people don't get that, because a lot of times space in this reality means separation between me and somebody else. Like I'm on my space, right? So I'm going to separate from you. I'm going to go away. I'm going to separate from you. But in this case, that's not at all what you were talking about. What you were talking about is actually a space of non-judgment, a space of where everybody is included. And so it's the opposite of what this reality calls space, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I really just want people to think about this for a second. When you're having a conflict or this intense discussion, like Jessica just mentioned, it's really easy to feel tight and contracted. So it feels like there's no space, right? It feels like I can't breathe. I can't be me. That person cannot be them. But when we are using like what else is possible and other tools, then suddenly we're like, okay, even though we don't agree, I can still be me, they can still be them, and we can figure it out, like what works for both of us, right? So it's a very different way of looking at space. And I just wanted to mention that.
Yeah. Yeah, I like what you said, because that contraction, when we get into that contraction or that intensity, it's like I can't hardly breathe. Yeah. I don't know what I am except that feeling that's right there.
Yeah.
I can't see anything except what I've deemed to be a problem.
Yeah, exactly.
But in space, like I'm bigger than that one little moment.
Exactly. I love it. Cool. Okay, so the other thing is asking a question is also like there is a letting go when you ask a question. Mm-hmm. There's a sense of letting go of that solidity. There's a sense of letting go of, like you talked about, I have a very clear, point of view about something, and I want him to have the same clarity, the same point of view that I have. So that's a very strong, solid, important piece. And then when you ask a question, it's not that it becomes less important, but it's that you're now softening almost. And you're like, okay, I get that I have this clear point of view. And I wonder if I look at another possibility, so what else is possible, maybe that point of view will become less important, less solid, less intense.
Mm-hmm.
It's so funny. Really quick parenthesis. When you said that, I realized a lot of times women are considered intense. Do you agree?
Yeah.
I think it's because we care a lot. We care a lot. That's intense, right? But I know men who can be intense too. But so, okay, so that was my experience when you said that. I was like, as soon as you asked what else is possible, I just felt kind of the intensity, dramatic intensity kind of go away a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it doesn't mean you give up your point of view. It doesn't mean you give up what you think is true for you, right?
Yeah, but that's interesting because often when I allow more space to be there, my very clear, strong, well-developed point of view becomes far less relevant.
Yeah. So it's like, of course, red is my favorite color, but it doesn't have to be the only color I wear, kind of thing. So it's like, it's not that I give up on red, but it's that now I'm open to other possibilities.
Yes, fuchsia. Or coral.
Or yeah. Oh no, not coral. Sorry, bucket pot. All right. Quickly during the show, you guys may see me or Jessica do weird things, say weird things. Like I may move my fingers or my hands. I may say some weird words like puck and pot. Don't worry. At some point, we'll explain all of this, but you don't have to worry about it. There's nothing demonic about it. It's just whatever we do to feel good, right? Okay, I don't know why, but I need to ask you this question because I've known Jessica for a while, and recently, Jessica, you've been a lot more comfortable being on video on Facebook. And I wonder if you could share with people what your process was to do that. Like, I know it's really quick and really simple, but I just wanted to share that because I see so many people stop themselves because they're not comfortable in something, or they're like, oh, I'm not good at this, and I need to learn before I do something. So I'd love to know what your process was to be able to be on video live with me or on your videos that you post on Facebook. Like, would you like to share that for us?
Yeah, that's a good one. One of the questions that I've learned from, I remember specifically when I learned this from Dr. Dane. He's one of the founders of Access Consciousness. He said, a leader always asks, if I choose this, what will it create? And I was in a class with him about being a leader in a world, creating difference. So that question, it's worked its way in. So if I choose this, what will it create? So a whole wonderful group of people last year did a 30-day video challenge. And I thought it was so stupid.
I was part of it.
Yeah. And I watched these people doing this challenge with some admiration for them, and also so much judgment of, I would never do that. And these people think they have 30 days worth of something to say. I don't. Because, I was being kind of a superior asshole about that. So that was last year. So that was in 2016. So this year it came up again, and I was like, oh, another 30-day video challenge. And I went to the question. Like, I didn't have thinking beforehand. I didn't think all my judgments. I just had a question of, oh, if I choose that, what will it create? And next thing you know, I was making a video because I knew, like, I had the awareness, if I do a video every day for 30 days, will it change my business? Will it change my life? Will it change my capacity to be present and visible? Yes. So I made the first video without thinking through it all, which also is exceptional for me, because usually I don't start something unless I think through will I keep doing it and what will happen? What will that be like? But I just did it. So that was fun, Sophie.
Yeah.
Less thinking, more choosing.
Less thinking, more choosing. Okay. So that's a good one. Good. Are you finished with your the process? Okay. So that's a really good one, because how many of us stop to think, right? I mean, that's what we've been taught. We've been taught to stop and think. Think for a second. Think. Are you thinking clearly? Think.
Be
think.
smart and think it through.
Smart. Think it through, right? Which is, I'm sorry, but total BS, right? Because the more you think about it, the more you're going to find the reasons and the justifications for either not doing it or doing it the way you don't want to do it. I mean, holy moly, guacamole. Like, thinking is, you're stinking if you're thinking.
Yeah, and thinking begins to create what it's going to be before you even get there.
Oh, okay. How many of us have thought it through so well that we actually didn't do anything with it, because that was it. We were done. We thought it through already, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how many business plans in my computer that I worked really hard on for great businesses that I never put in place. I just was like having fun with the business plan. Yeah. It's awesome. And then never did anything, right? Just like, it's fascinating. Thinking to me is the opposite of what will create. Like Jessica and I, we had a conversation on Friday, and I said, oh, let's do a Facebook Live TV show or series. And then we came up with this, and here we are, right? Like, no thinking, let's just do this.
I know. You're so cute, Sophie. We had a tiny little conversation, and next thing you know, you created the whole thing. But that didn't surprise me, because that's how you work, because you just did it.
Yeah. And the other thing is, one of my missions in life is to make people laugh. And every time I talk about this show, if people don't laugh, they smile, right? Like, it makes people smile. So I'm like, oh my gosh, what have I started? And I'm totally getting people to smile more and laugh more. And I'm so excited about, like, I'm going to Rome this week, and I'm like, oh, I can pop in Rome and with all these fabulous people, and do like quick short how good is your life shows right there in Rome. Like, how cool is that? So I'm just so psyched about all of this creation. Okay, so there's a practice, a tool that I would like us to share with people that I think you're really good at, and that's lowering your barriers. Mm. And if you don't mind, like, explaining what it is, and then we'll see how we use it every day.
Yeah. Okay. So lowering your barriers is that, I can't explain it as a how-to, but often I like to explain it like, that sometimes you walk through life with walls up. I'm a little bit defended, and I'm a little bit guarded, and I'm holding back just a little. And I've put up some automatic pilot ways of being with you, which I really perceive that everyone does this. We all have it.
Yeah.
But when we have all of that structure of ourselves in place, and all of our structure of how we are in the world, we cut off our awareness, and we don't receive as much information, and there's not much vulnerability or intimacy that we can actually create with people. So we can make another choice. So in Access Consciousness, we learn just to lower our walls and our barriers. And it can be as simple as this. Like, we can do it with our hands and just sort of remember, oh, I'm softening back to me. Here's me, without all of my stuff up about what I am and what I should be with you. So we get really soft and lower our walls and our barriers. And the amazing thing is, with walls and barriers lowered, we can then be with the world, not behind like the plexiglass of our identity or structure. And when our walls and barriers are lowered, something can actually be created in the moment with the energy that's there and the awareness that's there. There, that was my long explanation.
No, thank you. the reason I brought this up is I have a pet peeve, and it's when people say they need to have boundaries. So for me, a boundary is creating a separation between me and the rest of the world. And you can look at history. Anytime that somebody wanted to protect a boundary or, a frontier or whatever, then it led to war, it led to conflict. So anytime for me, when we create our boundaries at some point, then there's going to be somebody going over the boundary, or, it just doesn't work. Not with the spontaneity that people are seeking in their life. Most people say they want to be spontaneous. So they want to enjoy, they want to be present in their life. They want to enjoy life. You can't do that if you have boundaries. You can't do that if you have those, ways that you just, like Jessica said, those ways you decided to be in the world. It doesn't work that way. So I told you guys Friday, Jessica and I, we met in a coffee shop, and I was running late. So usually when I would come into a coffee shop, my instinct would be order coffee. Like, we're in the coffee shop, order coffee. That's how I would work. But this time I had lowered my barriers so that I could start the conversation with Jessica right away. And I was like, you know what? I'm not going to order coffee. I'm just going to sit down and talk to her. Like, it was a different way of being for me. It was simple, but it allowed me to be connected to you right away. Like, I didn't have to have between parking my car and getting to you, there was no time in between. It was just like, hey, hi, how are you? And then boom, we started conversation. So it makes things easier for me. It doesn't require me to suddenly adjust myself. Okay, how do I look? And, or think about what I'm going to say. Like, I can be present with you. And we had a blast, I thought, in that conversation. So that's what I would love for people to consider. And, any time in your life that you feel things are not fun, or that you're not, like, for instance, I'm going to the airport tomorrow. And last time I was in an airport, I had cracked ribs. So I was in a lot of pain, which meant that I had to move really slowly. And it was my first time ever being in an airport and not rushing. Like, usually in airport, I'm like rushing. So having to walk really, really slowly made me so aware of everybody and everything around me. And I loved it, man. People were so kind to me, and I had so much fun. I saw many beautiful things. I was so relaxed. So, like, I'm getting ready to go to the airport tomorrow. I'm like, cool. That's the energy I'm going to be now. No barriers, just walls down, vulnerable. I don't know how my body will be, hopefully not with cracked ribs, but, just taking my time and being there, because it's so easy for me in an airport with all the people to just go, I'm like, travel mode now. Instead of, hey, all these people are going places and they're creating something by doing that. That's awesome. All this energy with all this air travel, it's amazing. So being present with that, I know is going to create so much more.
Yeah. Well, and I remember when you had your cracked ribs and you were so present with your body.
Yeah.
Like, you were aware of you. Yeah. And then therefore you were there.
Yeah.
And the way I perceive it, people put up boundaries because they're actually not present. So they have to be like, don't cross this line, because nobody even sees that they're on the other side of the line.
Yeah.
But if I'm present, nobody's going to step on me because I'm actually here.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so that's the reason. Okay, thank you so much for saying this, because a lot of time I hear people say we have to create boundaries so that other people don't step on me, or don't abuse me, or don't take advantage of me. But when you're lowering your barriers, when you're being present, people cannot step on you, because you become this big presence, and they won't hurt you. It's just not that energy.
Yeah.
There's an aggressive presence. That's what it is. Aggressive presence, but not in the sense of aggressive violent, but aggressive in the sense of so clear and so big that nobody can change that for you. You're the only one who can change that. You're the only one who can change how joyful and how ease is your life in that moment, because you are that aggressive presence. And that's a concept in access consciousness that we haven't talked about in a while, but it's one of my favorites. So what will it take for us to be that aggressive presence in everything we do, in everywhere we go? You know, just be that.
Yeah, it's a level of or a space of intensity. I'm here.
Yeah.
Not like on a dimmer switch.
Exactly.
I'm here. I'm present. You can't not see me because I'm here. I have a potency inside of me. But I don't have to be in your face. I could be across the room and you would know that I'm here. But with my walls and barriers up, I can go invisible really fast too.
Oh yeah. Yeah. For sure. Whew. Wow. That's awesome. Okay. So to go to the pragmatic parts, we talked about like discussing with your boyfriend, having conversations that are pretty intense. That's you.
Easy.
So I wanted to, every time we do this show, I want to bring like a situation where people would be like, how do I do this? How do I do that? So where was I? I got distracted. Okay.
A pragmatic situation.
Yes. So one of the situations that, besides relationship, that a lot of people want help with is money. So when you have, let's say you have to pay a $500 bill and you have $200 in your bank account and you're not sure when the money is going to come, what do you do? How do you create more money? Because by the way, you can create money. Money is not just like, it's not just a process. You can actually create money. So how do you go out and create the money you need when you have those big bills coming and you don't see that money in the bank account? So do you have an advice for people like that?
Yeah, I was in that. This has been a weird, tight month. Like, most of my clients are using up sessions that they paid for a couple months ago. So it's just an interesting timing that I haven't had a lot of inflow this month. So when I get to give my money situation right now a lot of space. So instead of just looking at July, I get to remember June was fantastic.
Yeah.
What's going to come in August? Like, I get to expand my awareness beyond the calendar and the date and the bank account balance right now. So that creates a lot more space. Then within there, I can ask questions. All right, well, what could I create that the world is desiring? What could I contribute? Who wants to give to me? And I can start a very gentle money pull. Now, here's what's fun for me. I did that last week. Everything I just described, I did that.
Yeah.
And then out of the blue, a client emailed me who we hadn't worked together since 2013. Wow. And the last time she met with me, she didn't have the money for a session, and then she disappeared.
Wow.
So she did a session with me. She didn't pay for it. I was a little annoyed at that at the time. And she disappeared, and it's been 4 years, but she emailed me out of the blue and said, Jessica, what's your mailing address? I need to send you a check for that session.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome.
And she mailed me the check, and she didn't even ask how much it was. She remembered, she mailed it. And I almost missed that I did that. Like, I created that.
Right.
Until I was telling somebody the story. So this is the other thing that we practice a lot, is acknowledging.
Yes.
Acknowledge that I asked for that. I asked for me to come. And my mind would have thought I need to sell more packages, but what life gave me was money that was owed to me that I'd forgotten about.
That's awesome. And you can also sell more packages.
Yes, definitely.
That's awesome. Yeah, I remember a few months ago, I was also in an interesting situation, and I own an electric car, And the brand, the maker of the electric car, they don't really promote those cars very much. So they're still kind of like figuring out their electric cars. So they wanted me to participate in a survey to figure out like how to drive the car and you know, my behavior with the car and all of that. So it was a pretty lengthy survey, and they paid me $800 for it. And that's like awesome. And I was so amazed that, you know, I would never have expected to make money with my car, at least not this way. And so it was just brilliant to get this cash for just answering a few questions, you know, and spending a couple hours with people in my car. Like, that was awesome. So yeah, so I love what you said, asking questions, expanding, not making the calendar so significant, because how many of us are so tied up with time? Oh my gosh, I have to do this, I have to do that. And we don't actually look at what else, like what did we do before and what we'll do in the future. And the other thing is, so like you said, you know, you had money that was owed to you. And a lot of times I realize when we think we don't have the money, we don't see where money is going to come from. So for me, and this is probably a little bit more law of attraction than access, I'm just going to acknowledge that for a second. But for me, it's also changing my thought and being like, well, I know I can create money. I've created money in the past. I'm not sure where the money is going to come from in this 10 seconds, in this moment. I don't know, but it will come. Like, I just have to acknowledge that I have created, and it will come. But if you continue focusing on what's not there, thinking about what's not there, then the universe is only going to give you what's not there. So that's a big thing. And I do a French show, and today at noon, we're going to talk about this a lot, because if you don't already be in the energy, in the vibration of I've got this, then the universe can't match that. The universe is only going to match what you're putting out. So if you're saying, oh, I'm bad with money, I don't have the money to pay the bills, then the universe is only going to give you that. Mm-hmm. So you've got to really, really look at what is it you're looking at, considering being present with, and then the universe can match that. So that's my advice, my practical advice. And I know we probably should have started the show about this, but why do we talk about energetic life hacks? Like, why use energy more than doing, more than actions, which we also include actions in the energy work we do. But to me, unless you change the energy of something, it's just not going to happen, or it's not going to happen with the fun and the ease you would like to see it happen. So that's why energy is critical. First of all, when you change energy on something, it goes faster. Mm-hmm. It's a lot more fun. Mm-hmm. And things can show up that you would never have thought of. Like, you're not the one in control anymore. There's a big universe who's going to help you and who has your back. So that's why we go with energetic life hacks instead of figuring it out. And Jessica, you know, I work a lot with computers, and I do a lot of work on the computer and with websites and databases. That's kind of my nerdy side. And I was, you know, working on this really, really big website with a lot of people, and a lot of people were upset that it was not working for them. Mm-hmm. But as soon as I was doing it for them, so acting as if I was them with the website, it was working for me. So the difference was I did not have a perspective. I didn't have a point of view that it was going to be hard. I actually was enjoying what I was doing. I was completely like being aware of the possibilities. They were not. They had decided that it's not working, it's hard, it's complicated. And so it didn't work for them. Even technology, you can change technology with energy. It was all a matter of energy. I had a different energy than they did, and it changed completely the experience. I mean, we have programmers that are so upset with us because they can't figure out how we are changing things with the website. But the truth is, we are a big team of people working on the website that work with energy. So we're changing things on the website like this all the time. And the programmers are like, how did you do it? And we're like, who cares? It's change. They're like, we want to know. No, you don't. But that's the other thing, is energy will change things that you think we need otherwise, a lot of actions, a lot of steps. Not necessarily, maybe, but not necessarily.
Yeah. I remember when we were roommates in Rome this spring, and you were working on the database, and you told me there's so much to fix. I can do this for days and weeks. And then like the next night you said, wow, I went back in and there's more done.
Yes.
And I'm the only one working on this.
Yes. I looked at my spreadsheet and I was like, how did half of it get done? I did like 10% yesterday, and then half of it was done. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and I have that experience with the thing, like I love Yelp. I love that website. I love it as a resource. I love it. I'll tell people I love it. I use it. I love it. Yelp loves me.
I know.
I get almost all my business from Yelp, and I'm the only coach that I know that does. Like I know other coaches that get some business, but my whole business basically has been built from Yelp. But it's because I love it. If I was griping about it, or if I had my walls up to it, or if I was afraid of it, I wouldn't have that relationship that I have with Yelp. So I love remembering that websites and technology and places and organizations we're in relationship with them just like we are with people. And if we treat them like somebody we don't like, then they're not going to work for us. But if we love them and acknowledge them and appreciate them, we can receive a whole lot.
Yes. Okay. Now I have to tell another story.
You do.
Because I travel a lot. So it has happened that I lost a couple suitcases in my travels. And recently I was traveling to this really small airport in France. And it had been already like maybe 30 minutes that I was waiting for my suitcase. So usually like in a small airport, 30, 40 minutes, it's like you're starting to worry. Like there's really no reason why it should take 30, 40 minutes for a small airport to deliver your suitcase. But I knew that if I was worrying, I would be screwed and I could say goodbye to my suitcase. So instead, I started listing all the people that were contributing to me getting my suitcase back with me, right? So, and I was grateful for them. And I was like, I'm so grateful for the handler of the suitcase. I'm so grateful for the people maintaining the airport so that it functions well. I'm so grateful for the flight attendants that got us safely on time. I was becoming grateful for all these people. Within like 2 minutes, my suitcase showed up, right? And it was just like, I know I changed something, because if I had gone to like, oh, they lost my suitcase again and all of that, then it would have been so not that experience. It would have been very different. So
I love that, Sophie. I want to go back in time and do that at the Chicago luggage place. I waited so long for suitcases, and everybody was getting so pissed off. Like the aggression in the space was pretty amusing.
Yeah. I do it every time I'm waiting for my suitcase. I do. Well, first of all, I stay connected to my suitcase. So I have this energetic link between me and my suitcase so that it can't go too far from me. I do that. And like when we land, I pull on the energetic link. I'm like, okay, now you're coming with me, so the suitcase is there with me, like wherever it is in the world, it's with me. And
so you were talking about how we discuss energy more than doing. Like that little energy play with your suitcase is super efficient.
Yeah.
That's why I love talking about energy and working with energy, is because I have to do very little, but so much is created by my willingness to be engaged energetically with something.
And I taught my kids, because I lost one of my kids' suitcase once. So, the kids are pretty aware of that possibility. So I taught my kids, I said, when we travel, I said, stay connected to your suitcase. Like always make sure you have a link to your suitcase. And they do that. And then they're like, they also pull on the suitcase at the end. So, and it's so cool. And my kids are still in an age where they couldn't totally make fun of that. 10, 12 years old, but they don't. They're like, yeah, absolutely, it works. And they use it. And I mean, it's just, man, if I had had these tools before, I mean, I would have been such less stress basket when I travel, because for a long time for me, travel was so stressful. But now it's like, okay, cool. Like, I'm going to go travel. That's awesome. Like, it's so much easier now.
Yeah.
So much easier. So, I was trying to see if we had any questions on Facebook. Oh, Peter is saying he loves the energetic link. He loves Yelp. He will review you, Jessica. Oh, he was invisible for many years. Okay. So
he's not invisible to us.
No, he's not invisible to us. We love you, Peter.
Mm-hmm.
The thing about, like, I wanted you to talk about your videos because so many people mention you to me now that you've started making videos.
Really?
Before. Like, I know I've known you for a while, but it was not like I unless I was talking about you, other people didn't talk about you to me. But now that you're making your videos, people are like, oh my gosh, Jessica is awesome. Like, I love her videos, And I know you've noticed that people are watching your videos and your content. So it was the willingness to go do something uncomfortable, but do it anyway. I think there's a very human aspect to that. And there's it's what it's called courage in this reality, is the idea that you may be scared, you may be uncomfortable with something, but you're going to go do it anyway.
Yeah. Yeah. Day one of that 30-day video challenge, I wanted to throw up. Like, I made it without thinking. As I said, I didn't really think. I just asked, I made a video. But then the number of views kept going up. And it freaked me out. My whole body went, whoa. I couldn't sleep that night because I kept looking at my phone.
Yeah.
I didn't realize. Okay, so when I reflect on that was a change, right? Something was changing in terms of me being visible.
Yeah.
And feel it. So
yeah.
if I labeled it from normal world language, like it was super uncomfortable, but actually it was just change. Like, the energy of change is, it could be uncomfortable. It doesn't have to be suffering. It could be really wild just to observe. Something's changing here. Something's changing.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. So we don't have a lot of minutes left on the show, but definitely change is another one that, it's really interesting to me how many people are supposedly afraid of change, but yet at the same time, they change their underwear every day, or so I hope. Right? Like,
I don't buy the bullshit that you're afraid of change. You change your underwear every day.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Come on. If you do that, then why can't, of course you can change anything you want,
Yes. Not significant. We can laugh at anything.
Exactly. Exactly.
Anything we can laugh at, we can change with ease. Things we can't laugh at or like find some amusement in get a little harder.
Yeah. So I have a special message. So I have a group on Facebook that I really want to encourage. So it's called the Divorce Recovery Bootcamp. And in that group, originally the idea was that you would be willing to go through like a recovery. It's not because you are divorced that your life is over or that you lost everything. You can divorce your spouse, but not yourself. Basically, that's what my slogan, my tag was. And I now have, like, Facebook has sent me a lot of people lately. So I have like maybe 900 members, something like this. And unfortunately, a lot of the people are wanting to share, not unfortunately, I'm sorry. What's happening is people are wanting to share what's been happening in their divorce, right? Or with their divorce. And that's great. I get it. And at the same time, if you guys go back to what Jessica and I we talked about today, if you keep talking about what happened in your divorce, are you going to be able to move forward? Are you going to be able to maybe have a different experience with your divorce? I had a really easy divorce. My ex-husband is getting remarried this weekend. I sent him a gift. I'm going to go to the LA reception. Like, it's all good. It actually can be a really easy process for people if you're willing to maybe change your perspective on what's been happening. So for anybody who is going through some kind of transition, or maybe the sense of loss somewhere in their life, I want you to listen to the show again, see how you can use all of this, right? And ask yourself, okay, so if I was not so attached to what happened, what could I choose now? What could I create to go forward? What would I like to have now? Mm-hmm. That's what I would like to encourage anybody who's going through some kind of transition where there is loss or grief, okay? And Jessica and I are masters at changing energy, changing things. This is what we do for a living. We do it every day with ourselves and with people. And I can tell you that this show is filled with the energy that you actually want to have in your life. So listen to it again and again until you get it, and then come back next week or in the next few days, because it's probably not going to be as regular as I thought it would be. But in the next few days, come back to this page, share with your friends, and you'll see more and more things get easier and more joyful in your life. Now, Jessica, you wanted to share something with people.
Oh, yes. I have a class. It starts today. You could join today. You can join late. It's called Presence and Potency. We're going to spend 21 days every day using these tools. So I teach these tools to a lot of my clients. They hear it, but then we have to actually remember to use the tool in the middle of the day. So, or whenever things come up. So the class is run by Facebook Live, streamed videos, streamed mini classes at 12 p.m. Pacific every day. So you can meet me live. We'll go, hey, what's going on in your day? What's here? What can you change? I'll bring out all the tools so that every day for 21 days, we're just using the tools and practicing and seeing what that creates. So if that's fun for you, that you can join. My website is jessicacolt.com. If you go to the classes, you'll see that class listed, and it's very easy.
And in case you don't know how to spell Jessica Culp, it's JESSICACOLP.com.
Yes. Thank you, Sophie. Thank you. You're so brilliant. And you're right. Like, we talked about space and asking questions and walls and barriers lowered and acknowledging and playing with energy. And anybody going through divorce, change, like that's a handful of tools that can make a huge difference. And it's not how most people engage with life. So I know everything we've talked about is so simple that even playing with one of those tools, like even playing with walls and barriers lowered, and that's it, that creates so much of a different reality.
Absolutely. Yay. I love that. Okay. Also, if you would like to do more of this stuff with me, more with a smaller group of people, we do something on beingwe.com, BEINGOUI.com. Go check it out. It's
brilliant. It's a brilliant site.
I love it. And thank you so much, Jessica. I know that you're going to be back on the show very soon. So thank you for everything you be and do. And I will see you all very soon.
Thank you for having me, Sophie. Bye.
Attends. I have to stop this now. How do I stop it? Okay.